van is gutted and we're on our first ever nighttime stay. We're going to El Campo, huh, honey?
Yep, we're going to El Campo.
Didn't know as a newbie how long it was going to take to get this rig even packed. So we have, because nothing's really functional, the water, everything's gutted. So the road truck is pretty much a big tent. And Angel is like kind of nervous because she's only used to being in a car. Hopefully everything will be okay.
It's a little ironic that our first event and our first night out in the van is somewhere colder than where we actually live. Complete opposite of what we're looking for. But we couldn't pass up the opportunity to get together with the rest of the VanLife community.
This is Christina from justinandchristina.ca, and I have a special interview from El Campo. So I'll let them introduce themselves. They have a unique lifestyle and career choice.
I'm Madison.
And I'm Raynor.
And together we're on Instagram. We're V&M VanLife, chronicles our personal pursuits of living in our DIY Sprinter. But we also are the couple behind Ray Outfitted. And we travel coast to coast in Canada, working with RVers and DIY camper vanners on their builds.
With that, we specialize in solar and electrical installs, and also mainly diesel heaters, but we do touch propane and gas heaters as well. And we also specialize in shore power simulation for RVs.
Yeah, we need that.
So if you're not familiar with what shore power simulation is, we basically install batteries into an RV and a higher grade inverter, which allows you to run the entire rig off-grid.
I mean, just full-time boondocking and RV life is like more accessible.
Yes.
Well,
with the conveniences of a
truthfully, electricity is the ultimate luxury when camping. So in the pouring rain yesterday here at El Campo, we were gathered here with a bunch of people playing Nintendo Switch.
I was trying to keep Angel warm.
Where's Angel keeping you warm?
Yeah. Both.
But the reality is for camping that power is one of those big limiters. And so having that concern, we try to work with people on different scales of systems for the different needs. Our van is a fairly large electrical system.
It's beautiful.
And we'll give you a little tour, but we're quite on the high side of electrical demands. We're electric cooking, everything in here. We have no propane and no added fuel sources. So most people will add propane into the mix, and that reduces the cost of the electrical system a lot.
Is that usually if someone has a budget build, is that usually what you recommend, like a half and a half? Or
Yes. For most of the budget builds, we would recommend a propane cooktop with a small electrical system, which allows the people to keep that cost of the electrical down, because the biggest cost of your electrical is the batteries. If anyone knows and has looked into it,
especially if you want lithium.
Most lithium batteries now are around $1,300 Canadian for 100 amp hours.
That's so, like $1,000 US?
Yes. Yeah, so
US viewers, you're lucky. Do you go all the way to the US?
Americans can come to us.
Okay.
Yes. So as Canadians, we can't work on US soil, but it is completely legal for Canadians or for Americans to come to Canada.
So you can make an appointment at a specific
area.
Correct.
So we'll meet up with people on their locations to do work, but we also have a location in Central Ontario that people can come to us, and we have accommodations, and we can help people stay comfortably while we work on them. Because some projects, it's quite small. If you're talking a fairly simple electrical system, that's a day or two project. When we get into the fifth wheel RVs with their AC units and they want to use the AC off-grid, those installs take up to a week.
So it is possible.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
AC off-grid.
Oh, yeah. I will not lie to you, it's expensive, but it certainly pays off in the long run for those that it's important to, particularly for Southern Americans. If you're actually trying to do full time, the heat's a hard thing. For us as Canadians, we struggle more, not struggle is the wrong word, we work more with the cold weather. And so Raynor's factory trained by AM Solar in Eugene, Oregon. And so they're one of the like early days for RVs using solar. And they now claim Raynor as their cold weather specialist.
Cold weather specialist.
Because they
We
can't
send you off
imagine.
to Alaska too.
Because they can't imagine our coldest temperatures in the last 2 years in the van have been minus 40 Celsius. That's the same in Fahrenheit.
Same, yeah. Yeah.
And then our hottest is plus 45 Celsius, which is
Approximately 135 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's, yeah. People don't realize that there's such huge temperature variances, even close to the border.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just like, it's cold right now.
Yep.
It's not cold, it's just, it's our first van trip, and we thought we were going to go into the heat, but instead we decided to come to El Campo and be in the cold.
You came to Quebec in the fall.
No, but we're from Montreal,
Yeah.
so we're used to the cold. So, but yeah.
I think not having your RV fully finished adds to the pressure. We always talk about that. Like, people keep asking us while we're here, how are you doing with the cold weather? Like, we're well settled in here, and that makes it easy. But we certainly know what it's like when you're not quite finished in there. So you're more camping than the hashtag van life. Yeah.
On average, how long is the wait time to get access to you?
Ooh, good question.
Currently, we're on about a 2-month wait list.
Okay.
Yeah. So we start working, we recommend if people are thinking about their project to reach out once they have a sense of what they're wanting to accomplish, so we can start working with you from part sourcing and organizing and that scheduling. And so depending on the project, for example, some of those heaters, those are only 1 or 2 day projects, and we can sometimes squeeze those in sooner if there's urgency. But often it's parts you're waiting on. And so as fast as we all want to get going on the road, it's often the lead time is determined by some of the components that we use. So,
what has been your favorite project to do, and what has been your least favorite project to do?
I'll start with my least favorite.
Oh, she knew right away. She was laughing. She's like, I know what this is going to be.
Yes. We were in Canmore, Alberta, installing a diesel heater on a driveway at minus 10. And it was my least favorite because my fingers kept getting numb, so I had to keep coming back in the van to warm up so I could keep working.
I scheduled this install. I was really excited. We were driving out west. I found us work on the road. That's the goal. That's the business we're building right now. And then this cold weather snap comes through, and it is freezing cold. And for these diesel heater installs, it's actually a lot of little wiring work.
Oh, so you need your fingers.
Yes.
So he's trying to casually in front of the client be confident, and this is normal. And so he did a good job. It worked out well, but.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll thank you.
He
thanked you quite a bit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we now make sure to coordinate to do heater installs before the freezing temperatures come.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learning curve. Right?
And starting this fall in Central Ontario, we have a heated shop that we get to bring clients to, and that's something we're really excited about. You'll know it's really hard to keep building out a van and working on a rig when the weather starts fighting you. The reality
we're
is
supposed to be rebuilding in November in Montreal, like the bed. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen. We'll try.
Some of our clients in the DIY community, they'll actually find storage lockers that are drive up, so you can bring your vehicle
we
inside.
Might have to do it because we have an outdoor parking.
Mm-hmm.
And we fixed our own rust on the inside.
Yeah.
But it took 2 weeks. Because
Mm-hmm.
we were outside in the rain and the this
misery. Yeah. So, and it's one of our clients. She's actually she's one of our favorites, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We all of them become such close friends. But she's a 69-year-old woman on her own, upfitting her own van, and so she found this storage facility, and they've got like a maker community going on in there. A few lockers down from her. There's some carpenters. There's some other mechanics. And since she started working in there and sharing, there's 2 other vans being worked on in there.
That's cool.
So they got the heated, like the climate-controlled space, the storage locker to leave all your tools, and there's actually a little bit of community, which seems
Is that your favorite
kind of
project?
awesome.
My favorite project to date was we actually worked on a 2019 leisure van doing shore power simulation.
This was the prettiest
Fancy.
Yes.
prettiest RV we
Fancy.
and it was brand new, and of course the Raynor's first thing he does is drill holes in every vehicle he makes. So we installed
400 amp hours of lithium with a 3,000 watt inverter.
Now that's power. 3,000 watt.
Yeah, because they wanted to make sure they had no issues off grid. The only thing that they said that they didn't want to have to do was run their AC off grid, because if they had wanted to run their AC, it would have been a much larger battery bank. So we did that, and they got on the road, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 emails from them on the road, and
Like a reward.
and it's compared to our life. We'll call it life before the vans. There's no projects in our life before the vans that are as rewarding as every single one we've worked on in this community. Hearing the updates, seeing them live whatever that goal was, whatever version of travel it was. And for Raynor, as a licensed mechanic, working in a conventional shop, it's the same work over and over and over again.
Yeah, it must get boring.
And
It does.
and
He's
now
like, it does. That's why I don't do it anymore.
yeah, done. And that's now every project is different. Everyone's got these curveballs to throw at him, and for me it's fun to watch him enjoy it and then see these people get to go enjoy whatever the plans were. And it's just rewarding. Like, actually feels like you're putting good out, not just earning a paycheck.
And the biggest question.
Yes.
What made you to decide to have a van and create this online, well, not online, but this business?
Well, when both me and Madison met, we had talked about tiny living. Her view was a tiny house. My view was an RV. And we went through all of the talks and everything and found out that tiny houses are hard to move, but they are beautiful. So we ended up going with a conventional fifth wheel RV.
Okay, so you started with a
Yeah.
fifth wheel RV. Okay.
Yeah. And
A really big one.
and after a year, we had realized how hard they are to move, how hard they are to find to park places. So we wanted to downsize, and we started looking at pre-converted vans. But we couldn't find anything with a layout that we liked. So we stumbled on the DIY community, and we're like, oh, I think we can do this. So we built out our van, we hit the road, and while we were on the road, we had a couple of people ask us, can you help me with my van? And we're like, well, yeah, we can do that. And then we started thinking, well, I really don't want to go back to being a marine mechanic, because it's summerized boats, winterized boats. That's all you do, really. And you get the odd nice repairs here and there, but so we decided, let's see if we can make this a viable business.
Oh, it is.
So we are just over a year into the business, and we are enjoying every minute of it, and hopefully we get to keep doing this for many years.
I think like RVing and full timing is gonna keep getting more popular.
I say, for everyone that's trying to figure out their way to get to full time, Raynor's Tale makes it sound like it's this really smooth, natural thing that we went through, and Raynor will tell you it wasn't at all. Our plan for how we were going to live full time on the road and our reality today are completely different. And so for me, why we're on the road now, my health was rapidly deteriorating working in my corporate environment. When we bought our van, I was working 100-hour work weeks. I was on 3 contracts that each one of them were full-time. I was commuting by airplane to work every other week between Toronto and Phoenix, Arizona.
Oy.
And so for us, it was like, we need to make a change. I have to depart from this. And so our baby step was Raynor transition from automotive mechanics to marine mechanics. And in Canada, that's a really seasonal industry. So they do winter layoffs. And so what that allowed is I kept working my multiple jobs, and Raynor took his winter layoff and built out the van. So this van was actually built out in 36 days.
36 days. See my reaction?
I would not recommend trying it.
No.
It was a lot of sleepless nights.
Oh, and so for us, the plan had been more, but we bought our Sprinter new,
Okay.
and it was still on the boat from Germany. And so we made the purchase, and in our wait time, it meant we gathered all of our parts, finalized all of our plans, prepared. We had a garage that we insulated and heated. Key. Only reason you can go that fast is having that indoor environment. So Raynor was able to spend the chunk of time we had. But the bad weather meant the van got delayed a month. And so Raynor's 2 months that he thought he could squeak out a van build became the 36 days. And we had no option. It had to be done because I needed to be back for my client in Arizona. And so we had committed to not buying plane tickets for me to get there. And so it meant Raynor, I have no idea how he did this. I was gone for most of it.
Very little.
There's a time-lapse video on our little YouTube channel. Yeah, our little YouTube channel has a time-lapse. Raynor managed to film.
We're going to put a link. We'll put a link to the little YouTube channel because they can actually see the reality of it going through.
And you can see the sunrise to sunset while he's working. Like you see the light rise and fade because he was working such long days to get the van done. So February 26th, 2018, we crossed into the U.S. with our van and have been traveling ever since. 85,000 kilometers, 18 months now. And it was through those first year is when my work changed. Our clients made our business. Our first few clients. Those first few clients. Some of them we call, like one of our clients, we call our van parents now. Van mom and dad.
Van mommy and daddy.
Yeah, van mom and dad, retired Canada Post worker, building out his van. So those early clients that really made it is what keeps us going now. And so part of our reason for coming to El Campo is to keep networking and find those other DIYers. Because for us, this isn't just about earning a paycheck. It's about helping people do this. Whatever version of get out there, be there, go there.
From RV to van.
We've done sailboats. We've done off-grid cabins.
Sailboats. So you looked at tiny living and it was primarily for health, and then this business came out. Do you have a plan for the next 3 years, 5 years, like they always say for tiny businesses, or you're like, let's just work everywhere and help everyone?
Our plan for the future right now is we actually just took possession of a property in southern Ontario.
Yes, to work in warmer weather.
Yes, so we're actually building a new garage on that property, which will allow us to fit in large rigs so that we can actually work on fifth wheels, vans, anything all through the winter. So that will give us stability in the winter and a nice place to work. But we are still going to be traveling coast to coast in Canada.
We'll still go to people. For us, we kind of envision this property as like the home base, and we want it to be home based not just for us, but for part of like the community. So we can have guests come onto the property while they're working on their DIY rig. If there's steps like electrical installs and solar installs that are too intimidating to do on your own, you can bring Raynor into your project and have that. So for us, it's
almost like an education conference / place where you can
retreat,
educate.
A stop on the road. We just want to, the reality is even once you've finished your build, it's never done. There's always that constant maintenance.
Yes.
An upgrade.
Yeah. So for us, we kind of envision this being a place that we can have a community aspect and we can support this nomadic community that we're always balancing between being too tethered to something and being too unstable because you're off on the road. So we're just looking for that middle ground too.
It's amazing.
Your fella here.
My fella's coming in. Say hello, honey, to the camera.
Hey.
He's popping in.
Hey.
He's an angel. So is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
Well, we'll give you all the links so you can share that. Feel free to reach out. We're happy to discuss projects.
2 month wait, though. 2 month wait.
But reach out because
it might be less. There might be a...
I'd say for some projects you get surprises. Sometimes people are on the travel route that's coming up, all that. So reach out and you truly, whether you're wanting to work with us or planning your own build or looking to hire anyone, understand part lead time can be a significant way.
They could probably pay. Do you guys have almost like a consultant per hour? Will they get you online and they'll be like, can you just tell me what to buy, or can you do like a web?
We call it Dial a DIYer.
Dial a DIYer. That could be a franchise.
And so for we do like a flat rate per call electrical consult, so you can send us in advance. your schematics, your plans, what you were thinking of doing, and then get on the phone and have a chat with Raynor, answer your questions. He'll point out any things he sees as risks, to be a little bit of a support. In those scenarios, we can't promise you're going to do everything right, because quality of install is a
no
big part of
guarantee.
all of it. But he's certainly available as a resource. And then for some, we've started longer term consulting where they just want to be able to, throughout their process, check in. And so we do that sometimes by time.
That might be convenient, because if you have a long wait and they're like, I need someone to tell me what's going to be okay.
What's solving some of
They're
those
like,
emergencies.
This is my Skype, and they're just showing it to you on camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, we do that on the road everywhere we go. As a licensed mechanic, his experience in upfitting all of that, it helps with some of that troubleshooting.
Yes.
And you love working with the DIY crowd.
I do. It's a different project every time. So there's no two projects alike. Even if you have two of the exact same vans, no two people are the same. And that's the good thing with the DIY and the custom upfits.
So you're like a teacher.
A little bit.
I don't think he'll ever say it, so I always have to kind of brag on him, because he amazes me. It takes a real level of patience to walk someone through something that is very, very natural and easy to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Raynor has this patience in spades. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I've watched him with all kinds of our different
Because
clients.
when you're an expert, you're like, you should know this, but they're like, you have to like dumb it down to a certain level without being patronizing, right?
And it's the patience to go into the depth to explain the basics and then go back to what you were talking about. And so that's what I really enjoy seeing Raynor get to do, is he enjoys it, because for him it's people interested in what he's passionate about. And don't we all love that opportunity? And for those that you're getting to work with, it's finally someone that's happy to explain and talk it through. And so it can be quite rewarding.
Yeah, and not everyone learns the same way. So you have to try to figure out how to explain it to different people in different ways. And
that's a talent.
Yes.
Because not everybody can say, oh, he's auditory or he's visual or whatever. So
Yeah.
you have an embedded skill. So she's allowed to say, ooh.
Yeah. And he built this home for me in 36 days. Let's show them, and we'll make you a coffee.
Awesome.
And then maybe you'll show us your rig, and we can start talking about
My
your
rig,
projects.
Yeah, you can. Wow, induction.
So we have 960 watts of solar on a tiltable array. It covers our entire roof of the van. And so it's raised up high enough, even when it's flat, that the max air roof vents can open underneath, which is quite important for all that avoiding condensation inside the rig.
How long would a setup like that on a van take for you to do?
About a week.
Yeah,
That's
about
not
that.
bad.
Yeah.
With the tiltable array, you'd add about another 6 to 7 days.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
like 2 weeks for a tiltable array.
Okay, so if it wasn't tiltable, it would go faster.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's we'll let you see the outside. The array, it's all custom welded, and so it's a big fabrication project that adds. Whereas if you're mounting them flat, it's a lot simpler and less fabrication time. But we also, Raynor fabricated for us a ladder that's on the side of the van to make it easy to go up and clean panels.
So you weld too.
Yes, I do.
Any custom fabrication. So from roof racks, ladders, motorcycle hitch mounts, and then some of the like odds and ends custom pieces for swivel tables and benches and stuff. But for us, we didn't want to have propane because it was an insurance problem.
Oh, really?
And so we could get this insured as upfitted for business purposes, but under that you're not allowed to have propane and you're not allowed a black tank. So that's why we have a composting toilet,
Okay.
and we use all electric. So our 960 watts of solar on the roof charges a 700 amp hour lithium battery bank in our garage.
That's a lot.
This is a beastly system, and so a big part of why our battery bank is so large is we're planning for the terrible weather that we live through all the time.
Never escape the winters?
We
have VanLife.
a couple months a year.
Okay.
So we definitely dip down to Arizona, but the reality is winter in Canada, starts in November and ends sometime in April or May.
I know.
And so even if
Unless we move to Vancouver.
it's true. Though we visited Vancouver in January, and it snowed, and it was their coldest temperature. Still quite warm to us, but Vancouver is really damp.
Yeah.
And we all know that that damp cold can feel even colder than dry cold.
Yes.
What is your favorite weather, guys?
I think our favorite weather would be winter.
I have almost everything in common with you except that.
I
don't like winter.
I think we do this contrast of, last winter we had a blast, and we spent a bunch of time in the Canadian Rockies and did a little bit of skiing and a lot of snow hiking in the snow, visit all the frozen waterfalls. It's really warm and cozy in here. And then we dipped down to Arizona and celebrated Christmas and New Year's in the desert. And so it's having a bit of that contrast helps, because you go take a couple weeks to warm up in the desert. It's fun to come back to the snow again.
Would you like any sugar in your latte?
Ooh.
Or maple syrup.
Ooh, maple syrup.
Maple syrup?
Guys, all electric latte in a van. No propane. We're living the dreams. Look at this. That's so amazing. I'll go and do an interview in your van if you make me a cup note.
Here you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We'll show you the outside.
Yep.
So this is our 2017 Sprinter, and it has 960 watts of tiltable solar. So Raynor's going to go up and show you how he does it.
Yes, I will.
Now that was simple.
So this one has assisted shocks to help lift it up. For someone with a bigger budget, you can use linear actuators, so it's a press of a button and you can tilt it either way. Ours is our guinea pig and budget version, so it just tilts to the one side, so we'll park in that position if we need it. So the tilt's really helpful in winter and in bad weather, and it's also good when you're in the deep south, because the sun doesn't rise as high in the winter. So people in Arizona in the winter tend to like being able to tilt their panels as well. So the other feature we'll show in our van is we have a 5-camera system, and so that helps with driving, but it also acts as a security system because we hold 72 hours of footage. Wow. So right now you can see one of the side ones is above the door, so there's one on each side on the back of the van, and then there's 2 facing forward, one for high res for license plates and one for distance.
Is that an install you do as well?
That is an install that we do as well.
Security.
Yeah. So we can show you the inside where the screen is, so you can get a sense of how that helps. So when we're towing a trailer, which we do sometimes, it's quite helpful to have those extra views for lane changes and all of that safety. So it kind of does a double. And these systems can be modified how many cameras you want and all that complexity, because for some, they just want a good forward and rear or whatever. There's lots of options.
Guys, thank you so much for watching our YouTube video. Subscribe, like, and share. Please comment, we want to hear from you, and hit the bell to be aware of our new videos. Bye. Hello.
Testing, testing.
Hello.
And it's going.